Hi, welcome to your Module 2 Data Protection Training. We'll be taking you through how the data protection laws have changed and what your responsibilities are. To do this video is designed to help you understand the principles of the new General Data Protection Regulations. The General Data Protection Regulation came into effect on the 25th of May 2018. At the same time, the UK also launched its own Data Protection Act 2018. This is the biggest change to data protection laws since 1998 and was brought about by the speed of technological change and the need to protect individuals, also known as data subjects. There are 6 principles relating to the processing of personal data that need to be adhered to at all times when we're handling the data of our customers, colleagues, and in certain instances, third-party contractors we may use. The first principle is lawfulness, fairness, and transparency. This principle is relatively easy to understand. Organizations need to make sure their data collection practices don't break the law and that they're not hiding anything from data subjects. When asking for information from a colleague or customers, we should tell them why we want that data and what we'll do with it. This is fully explained on the privacy policy available on the website for our customers or in employment contracts for our colleagues. The second principle is purpose limitation. Organizations should only collect data for a clearly stated specific purpose, and for as long as necessary to complete that purpose. For example, if an individual has lost something and gives you their name, number, and address to contact them, if it turns up, we can only use that information for that purpose. We should not use their data for other purposes, such as signing them up for a reward card or calling them about something unrelated. The third principle is data minimization. The very essence of this principle is to ensure we only collect the data we need for a specific purpose. This has 2 benefits to us. Firstly, in the event of a data breach, the data lost is minimal. And secondly, it makes it easier for us to keep up-to-date records. We must only ever ask for the minimum of information for the purpose we need it for, such as only collecting contact details for reward card holders and not excessive information such as the type of car they drive. Holding accurate personal data is integral to data protection. The fourth principle is accuracy. The GDPR states that every reasonable step must be taken to erase or rectify data that is inaccurate or incomplete. Individuals have the right to request that inaccurate or incomplete data be erased or rectified within 30 days. Sometimes we input data incorrectly, such as noting an incorrect date of birth or misspelling a name or address. A data subject can then ask us to change it and must be done within 30 days, or we could be liable for a fine. This also applies to those who change their name through deed poll or marriage. The fifth principle is storage limitation. Along with our new data protection policy, we're launching our retention policy. This states how long we can keep personal data. We're permitted to hold our colleagues' personal data for 7 years after they have left the organization. We hold details of all our transactions for 7 years too. But there are shorter periods, such as our CCTV footage, which is only held for 30 days. The sixth and last principle is about the integrity and confidentiality of the data we hold. It exclusively deals with security. The GDPR is deliberately vague about what measures organizations should take, because technological and organizational best practices are constantly changing. Data can be held physically, such as hard copies of employee files and return receipts, though it can also be held logically, such as computerized files. This principle covers data breach. A data breach is when an unauthorized person has access to our data. When we lose confidential files or devices with data stored on it or access to our networks. It is also when the data we hold is accidentally destroyed, such as the incorrect files being put into confidential waste. For instance, a field-based colleague leaves either files containing personal data in their car or a device that has access to that data and the car is then stolen, or we send confidential email to our employees but it is either sent to the wrong person or we fail to use BCC instead of CC, showing all the recipients. There are very strict reporting guidelines that we must report any actual or suspected data breach to the Information Commissioner's Office within 72 hours of it happening. This means you need to report this internally as soon as you're aware there's an issue. To report, contact your Profit Protection Advisor or the Business Risk Team at head office or report through to privacy@matalon.co.uk. If we fail to report through the ICO, we may be liable for substantial fine as high as 20 million euros, or 4% of our annual turnover. To help you understand how this may impact your role, a new data protection policy has been launched to address these principles. This is accompanied with a new confidentiality undertaking that we would ask you to sign and also have your colleagues sign a copy kept within their personnel file. Should you want any further information, please contact the Business Risk Team, who will be happy to help.